Hello there, YouTube hunters. Braggotsby here. So, sorry for the vertical camera orientation here. I'm working on an Undersculpt. This is my plaster head that I use for building all my masks. And I recently took through the Winston School of Character Arts. I took the Bruce D. Mitchell mask making class. I've always made masks the traditional way of sculpting, then making a mold out of plaster of that sculpt, and then pouring latex in. But this is for a one-of-a-kind kind of mask making, where you make it out of, he uses Magic Sculpt, I'm going to use Epoxy Sculpt because, correct me if I'm wrong, they're pretty much identical. I think they do the same things. And I can't get Magic Sculpt easily where I am, and I can get Epoxy Sculpt. You can see I got a bunch of it back there. So I ordered these resin antlers off of eBay for this purpose. I've been planning to do a mask with antlers for a very long time, even before I knew this technique. So I ordered those quite a while ago. And all this is what kind of, I forget the name of this clay. This is a very, the softest clay I could get from the sculpture store. And this is just the Undersculpt. This is not what the final product is going to look like. I'm building up the major shapes, and I'm actually doing more of it here than even Bruce Mitchell does in his tutorials. But I'm trying to define the shape for myself to figure out exactly how I want this to look. I'm not 100% satisfied with the shape yet because it's looking a little too demon from that movie Legend-ish. But I'm going to be putting real twigs coming up out of the head and doing a bunch of different things to make it look like an ancient woodland cultish mask. There'll be leather tied into this beard kind of section. This will be more defined. What you do is you lay the epoxy sculpt on top of the Undersculpt. This space here that you're seeing that's made out of clay, this is just well, the negative space between your face and the mask will look like. And so I'll actually start putting detail, as per the tutorial, putting a layer of epoxy sculpt and then dremeling the detail in to that afterwards. So it's going to be a long process. Again, this is just the Undersculpt, more just an exploration of what I want this face to look like. But I'm enjoying the progress so far. I'm going further than the tutorial did as far back the head because I want to include the twigs and stuff coming out of the top. So I'm going to strap it here and here, and there'll be a webbing of leather straps around the back to hold it on nice and tight. But that's pretty much it, and that's how the sculpture is going. Sculpture is like absolutely my favorite art form the last year or two. Something I did when I was younger and then stopped doing, and I've been drawing my entire life, but for some reason didn't do a lot of sculpture. I guess because I sometimes don't understand the point of doing a sculpture is to have something to sit there. But in mask making, it's such a great, it's such a functional skill to have if you want to make your own masks and bring sort of a new dimension to your haunt, or to any kind of theatrical endeavor. So I love doing this. I love just sitting out here. I just wrapped up 2 major projects for work, and I've got a couple of major ones about to start. But I've sort of rewarded myself with a day out in the workshop just tooling around with clay, and I couldn't be happier. So anyways, that's just a brief look at some of the progress on this sculpt, and happy haunting.